You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Today we address a critical issue that commonly arises in high-profile cases like we saw in R. Kelly's. And that is the court's heavy reliance on testimonies from witnesses whose credibility is sometimes even questionable. When such testimonies dominate the courtroom, the trial always risks becoming less about justice and more about public sentiment. Let's take a moment and discuss the implications of this dynamic, and its potential impact on the judicial process. In any trial, the credibility of witnesses is always paramount, and the justice system relies on witnesses to provide accurate and truthful accounts that can withstand all scrutiny. However, when witnesses whose credibility is suspect are central to a case, the foundation of a fair trial can be greatly compromised. In R. Kelly's trial, for example, we saw numerous inconsistencies in the testimonies made by key witnesses. Some having intentionally hidden motives such as financial gain or media attention, and this raises the question whether their accounts should be given any significant weight without substantial corroborative evidence.
During the trial, you testified that you said, "I was not honest in the interview that you did with us."
Yeah.
What were you not honest about?
Everything.
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 High-profile cases often carry an inherent risk, and that is the blurring of lines between legal proceedings and public opinion. In R. Kelly's case, for example, years of documentaries, interviews and social media campaigns created a powerful narrative. While raising public awareness is important, this media-driven momentum in high-profile cases can sometimes transform a trial into a referendum on an individual's character rather than an evaluation of evidence. The reliance on questionable testimonies, which are in the real sense just another bunch of hearsay in such an environment, greatly amplifies this risk. In fact, the court may inadvertently reflect societal outrage rather than adhering to its role as an impartial arbiter of justice. One of the fundamental tools in ensuring fairness is cross-examination of witnesses. It allows the defense to challenge the credibility of these witnesses, expose inconsistencies and highlight potential biases. In R. Kelly's trial, it appears these mechanisms were fully utilized to scrutinize the testimonies of witnesses who were found with questionable credibility. If cross-examination revealed significant flaws in these accounts, it raises concerns about why such testimonies were still heavily relied upon by the trial judges and their juries. Did the court weigh these testimonies appropriately against the available evidence, or were they disproportionately influential in shaping the verdict? In cases where witness credibility is uncertain, corroborating evidence becomes even more crucial. Physical evidence, documentation and objective records can serve as a counterbalance to potentially unreliable testimonies. Sadly, this was lacking in the trials against R. Kelly. In the absence of strong corroborative evidence, the reliance on suspect testimonies in R. Kelly's case causes us to question whether the testimonies presented alone were sufficient to meet the high standard of proof required for a conviction. It's absurd that the court of public opinion is often louder and more persuasive than the court of law. In R. Kelly's case, we all know that media coverage created a powerful narrative long before the trial began. Documentaries, viral posts and interviews shaped public perceptions, painting a picture that was difficult to ignore. While media attention can shine a light on important issues, it can also create an environment where jurors and judges may feel pressured to align with public sentiment consciously or subconsciously. Sadly, this happened in R. Kelly's trial as we saw the reliance on questionable testimonies influenced by the broader narrative crafted by the media. At the core of any criminal trial is the principle of beyond a reasonable doubt. This standard ensures that convictions are based on clear and convincing evidence. Sadly, in R. Kelly's case, suspect testimonies did not meet this standard. For every inconsistency, every ulterior motive and every lack of corroboration, reasonable doubt emerges. If such doubt exists, it's the court's duty to address it thoroughly before delivering a verdict. The R. Kelly trial process carries implications beyond him alone, and this is why the whole nation should be concerned. When courts rely heavily on testimonies from questionable witnesses, It sets a concerning precedent for future cases. Could this embolden others to present unreliable accounts knowing they might carry weight regardless of their credibility? Yes, it will, and that is the real problem. This rather bad example will not only affect defendants but also genuine victims. Over-reliance on dubious testimonies could lead to greater skepticism in handling future cases, undermining the credibility of valid cases and making it harder for true survivors to seek justice. Some might argue that the sheer number of allegations against R. Kelly speaks volumes. However, the quantity of accusations does not negate the need for quality and reliability in evidence. Without credible testimonies and corroborating impeccable evidence, the risk of convicting based on perception rather than proof remains. And this will turn the court of law into a referendum on defendant's character. Others might say that any witness willing to come forward in such a case deserves to be heard. While this is true, being heard is different from being believed without question. The justice system must differentiate between the two, ensuring fairness for all parties involved. The R. Kelly trial underscores the importance of upholding justice through evidence-based decisions. While it's vital to address allegations of alleged misconduct, it remains alleged conduct as it's not yet really confirmed, and that's why it's equally crucial to ensure that trials remain fair and impartial. We have to remember that the consequences of these trials may mean a matter of life and death for the accused, and therefore it would be so bad to end an innocent man's life only because someone made claims against them. The reliance on testimonies from questionable witnesses in this case highlights potential flaws in the judicial process. As we reflect on this trial against R. Kelly, let's advocate for a system that prioritizes facts over narratives, impartiality over public sentiment, and justice over bias. It's rather unfortunate that perpetual liars under oath such as Lisa Van Allen were also on the government's team against R. Kelly, but the trial continued regardless. And it wasn't only Van Allen that presented lies during the trial process. We saw a number of witnesses such as Azriel and Faith Rogers twist their statements to suit the narrative against R. Kelly. Thank you for joining us today. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. And together let's continue this important conversation about justice, fairness, and accountability. If you want to be featured in our video releases, send us your clips by emailing them to hnnewsroom242@gmail.com or use Google Drive for larger files. Be sure to include your name and any details you'd like us to know. We can't wait to showcase your contributions. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.